Guys, I was more right about this than I ever thought I'd actually be. And I do believe we all got catfished. So after the big boss fight at the end of Act 2, it's safe to say I was feeling pretty high on the epicness of the story so far. I was finally heading into Act 3 and towards Baldur's Gate, finally. I had been waiting so long to see the city, so this was a huge moment for me. I'm also going to make the spoiler warning here. By now we're into mega spoiler territory, so be warned. My first night on the road, there was a sort of strange dialogue that popped up, talking about what I'd do when the time came, either free everyone from their parasites or use the power for my own purposes. I wasn't ready to make any decisions at this point, so I just said, I'll do what feels right when the moment comes. But then the Absolute's voice starts bursting through my head and the astral prism jumps out of my pocket and starts freaking out. Then a portal appears and some Gith exit from it and get ready to attack me. The Dream Lover exclaims,
"We're under attack. Help me."
I saw there were only 3 rounds left to escape before the Absolute took control of the party, so I just ran for the portal. As we enter the prism once again, there is some craziness afoot. The shield that protects the weird skull rock we always see when we come here is ready to shatter, and then we see some Gith running right towards the shield, and they punch at it until finally it shatters. And as the cutscene closes, Tav even comments on where the Dream Guardian is, and they reply,
"I'm here. Help me. I'm under attack."
Now I've got to protect the Guardian, and I guess I'm fine with that because you know I've been crushing on them for a while now. So I fight through some Gith and notice with some curiosity that Intellect Devourers have also joined the fight. That's odd. But nothing prepared me for what happened when I finally made it to the rock. As the Dream Lover is calling out for you to help him, a cutscene plays and, whoa mama, this sure as hell explains a lot. I'm gonna play it for you.
Before you do anything, I am your ally. We are in danger.
A Mindflayer? The blazes is going on here?
The Githyanki is the source of our protection against the Absolute. I must subdue him, or everything we've worked towards is lost. Don't let my form deceive you. I am the one that's been protecting you. I am the one that came to you in your dreams. Help me.
So, from within the shattered shield, we see a shackled Gith wearing a mask, and my first thought was, is this Orpheus? It must be, right? But why the heck are there Intellect Devourers everywhere, and then there's just a full-blown Mindflayer floating there, about to throw a big-ass rock with psionic powers? I have no idea. What the heck is going on here? You want to talk about being blindsided? No, I just didn't see this coming at all. I mean, I thought Orpheus might be in the prism. It made the most sense going back over all the past videos I did, but I had not even considered the possibility that there would be a Mindflayer in there with him. And where the heck did all these other Gith come from, too? Was this the constant fight the Dream Lover was talking about? Not the struggle against the Absolute, but from these Gith? And I'm still wondering, where the heck is the Dream Lover as one of the Gith monks runs forward and kicks the Mindflayer in the chest and sends them flying backwards? And now it's starting to dawn on me, is the Dream Lover actually this Mindflayer? It's like that slow, painful realization, you know, when you're like, wait, but you were so hot and now you have tentacles? This can't be real, right? But it's all but confirmed when the Mindflayer speaks, saying, I'm your ally, and Gale pipes up, saying,
A Mindflayer? the blazes is going on here?
I'm with you here, bro. What the heck is going on? This Mindflayer has some explaining to do, and given my guardian was a he, and because the word emperor is a masculine word in and of itself, I'm just going to call it a he from now on for my game, because it sounds better than it, which comes off as rather depersonalizing. So he explains that the Githyanki is the source of the power that he's been using to protect us against the absolute. That if he doesn't get the Gith back under control, then well, everything will be lost, including our independent thought. He says, don't let my form deceive you, that he's the same one who's been there all along, coming to you in your dreams. Well, shit, guys. I never had any idea that when I called this the Illithid romance, way back when my first video came out, in 2020, that I was actually going to be right. I actually used to call it the Illithid romance because, well, the tadpole. I honestly thought back then that the tadpole was the dream lover and it was just using magic to appear as something more, something to get you to accept it. I had no idea it was going to be a full-fledged Mindflayer. That was what piggybacked into the prison cell of another hugely important Gith that was likely locked away in there in the first place by Vlaakith. This is one of those moments when you really have to praise Larian for thinking of something so outlandish and ridiculous, yet brilliant, because nobody would ever think it. I spent a lot of time trying to theorycraft the story together, and while there were parts that were close to this, it was never exact, and this is why, because it was complicated. So, here's the dilemma. Big Daddy Dream Lover, now being labeled as Big Daddy Emperor, needs our help. What the hell do we do? Now, I'm going to say, erring on the side of logic, my initial argument goes back to the fact that we need him to stay safe from the absolute, right? There's no easy way around that fact. This is also kind of hard for me because I really like hanging with Lae'zel, and I also led her towards being free of Vlaakith's control and working with Voss. This predicament is extra tense for me because I know she wouldn't be happy with any choices that helped out a creature that she is not only sworn to hate and kill, but that is also holding her true leader hostage. Man, this kind of dilemma is really rough. So my first response to the laundry list of choices here was probably coming more from a level of a jilted lover. Like, how could you do this to me? Was it all a lie to you? But more in terms of what I actually got to pick, which was, prove to me that you are who you say you are, because I'm having a hard time believing all of this.
You saved a child from a viper, back in the Druid's Grove. You saved the Asima Night Soul from her soul cage. You let me live last time you were here, though it brought Vlaakith's wrath upon you. I told you about my room in the Elsong Tavern, that night when you held me. I was vulnerable. You comforted me. Your continued existence as yourself, and not a Mindflayer, should be all the proof you need. Now, help me. Destroy the guard. They prevent me from subduing their master. Do it now! Together, we can turn the tide.
He just belts it out, talking about how I saved Arabella in the Druid's Grove, how I freed the Night Song, and how I let him live the last time I was there, even though it meant Vlaakith would be after me. Oh, but then he starts laying it on extra thick when he talks about how he told me about his room in the Elfsong Tavern. That night when I held him, he was vulnerable and I comforted them. So it's definitely the same guy, Mindflayer, tentacle thing. A really funny thing that you can do here is to read his thoughts. Even upon a successful roll, you can't get past the Mindflayer's awareness.
Despite your best attempts to be subtle, the Mindflayer's awareness is everywhere. You blunder in its presence like a warg pup learning to walk.
You must be joking. I am telling you my thoughts directly into your head. But if you insist on taking a look for yourself, be my guest.
Nothing in your colorful existence to date could have prepared you for this. As the horror terror subsides, you are left with only one coherent thought. You must do whatever you can to subdue the Githyanki.
Happy? Now, join me. Fight!
I about died at his response. You must be joking. I'm telling you my thoughts directly into your head. This was great. It must have seemed so stupid to him to have me all trying to be slick and reading his mind, and he's like, dude, I'm a mind flayer. What's wrong with you? But ultimately, you can join the fight or not. Now, obviously, I joined the fight. I'm not sure what happens if you don't, but I do know a friend of mine told me that he killed the Emperor and it was game over. So anyway, now it's just time to kill the Honor Guard, trying to free Orpheus, and once they're all dead, the Emperor will easily be able to get Orpheus back under control. Which still doesn't feel very good, but it was really the only option I had, given I wanted to see where this whole thing was going to go. Now, I hate to do this to you guys, because I know you've all been waiting to hear about the scene in particular, but I haven't been feeling that great the past few days, which means I've had to summon all of my strength just to get this video together so far, and I'm also way past due to upload something to my channel, so I kind of figured, well, I could finish this video and make it really long, but it's going to take a couple more days if that's the case. That, or I could try to get it done today, but I'd have to cut it into 2 chunks. So I'm opting to cut it in half and just make it a part 1 and a part 2. That way I can have a lot more energy and time to talk about all of the amazingly cool stuff that happens and the time to actually edit it together. So I'll keep working on the second part of the scene as soon as I get part 1 uploaded, so it shouldn't be more than a couple of days before the next part is completed, so keep an eye out. If you enjoyed the video, consider subscribing, as there is going to be a huge slew of new BG3 content coming out over the next few months, possibly years. I mean, there's a lot. Thanks to my Patreons for the support, and if you'd like to help support the channel too and get access to the private Discord and a whole other chunk of content on Patreon, then head over and make a pledge. I'll see you guys later.